welcome to this reading about work and career. This is actually one I did for myself and I wanted to share it for a larger audience because I felt like it was saying something that we nearly all need to hear sometimes. So the first card that I took, and I actually chose this card because it represents the situation, and it's the card of juggling two things. It's the card of trying to perhaps put your energy in two different places, and there's actually one of those places that you want to thrive, but out of fear, you keep in the other place. So you're trying to set up your own business, but you have to invest lots of time in your money-making job. And so you're kind of dancing back and forward between these two things. I think that's a situation that quite a lot of people can relate to. So I asked, what is the hidden shadow in the situation? What is it that's making this situation maybe go on for longer than it need to? I got the Seven of Wands. Now in the classic, this is a Dal de Marseille deck, and in the in the British system of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you've got a man standing in a defensive posture, and you can see sort of 6 great big poles arranged against him, and although he's got a strategic advantage, he is besieged. And so it's a sense of feeling besieged and different. But because it's in that shadow position, here I'm really getting the sense that it comes from a past. It comes from a time when you were afraid to stand up and really show who you were because you felt that you would be different, you would be attacked, that you would have to, and you're going to encounter a lot of opposition. But I think the thing is that opposition, all these people might have actually left your life. The opposition might actually be just in your own mind, that you're actually playing out their voices in your head, and that is what is stopping you from going forward and really committing to your path. Because what is needed is this: the sword of truth. That undeniable sense of this is what I want, this is true, this is needed, and nothing can stand against it. It's a fact. So the cards, which I find hilarious, because sometimes the cards are just kind of like duh, which is make a decision and act. And just for good measure, the Death card came out with it. And the Death card says, when you make a decision, there is loss. When you make a decision, part of yourself dies. And you know what? It's supposed to. That's the way things roll. And you need to accept that and move on and almost dance with it. So, and where are we going? Where are we going? We're going to the moon. And the moon is an interesting card because it is a card of uncertainty. And because of personal experience, this has a sense of familiarity and unfamiliarity. So in the background of the card is Paris, which is a place that I actually lived, and so it's very familiar. And yet, I've had this deck for a couple of years and I've never seen this card before. So I really feel that once you accept that death, you are walking into unknown territory, and yet it's not really unknown. And so you can have this strange sense of familiarity and unfamiliarity, and it leads to the Hierophant, which is your own sense of spiritual authority. That you're not playing to the gallery, that you're actually listening directly to source and not to the voices of your critics, some of whom are long gone, and who you don't even know, you may be forgotten their names. You're listening directly to the light of God and truth. And these are really powerful cards. These are necessities, and we've got the Sun and Saturn conjunct in the sky, and it can be that opposition about your life force and what it's serving, and what your idea of duty is. Is it duty to an old version of yourself, to how other people perceive you, to the mask that you constructed? Because one of the things that's quite particular about this is that and this card came up as your assistant in this process, is that David Bowie was used as the model for all of the human characters, apart from the artist herself, called Irtis. And I'll put the link for the deck below. And one of the things, and I heard this recently, it was somebody talking about David Bowie's work and how when he began appearing on TV, and dressed in this really strange way as Ziggy Stardust, wearing makeup and in a kind of almost cosplay, playing out characters of his own invention. Nobody had seen anyone do anything quite like that before. And so it was a uniquely personal vision, and people didn't resonate with his visual universe or his musical universe in the sense of like, oh yeah, I think like that. That's who I am too. Although I'm sure some people did. What they resonated with was his personal truth, with his real authenticity, and the contrast that made with the popularity seeking, people pleasing, formatted entertainment that's always being served up over and over and over again, and everybody thinks that that's what they have to do to get attention, to be loved, to exist in the world. But no, it's not. That's not it. That's not it. And what I also love about this card is that it is the Page of Wands. So it's a child energy. It's usually shown as like a child, almost like they've picked up a stick and thought, oh, what can I do with this? And oh, I've got an idea, I'm going to do this. And they're inexperienced, and they wander forward with their idea. So there is something new and childlike about this instinct to go forward, but it's also the alchemist. It's also the alchemist. It's the turning the lead into gold. And some of the lead is the inner critic, is the opposition that you might have felt or experienced or just imagined. And that can be transformed. And so we've got this moon coming back and forward, and we are heading towards a sense of spiritual authority. So if this is you and you are struggling with a sense of juggling the good girl or good person and the person that you want to come out into the world and be, grab the sword of truth, because it is going to be an alchemical process that leads you into the expression of your own spiritual authority. So this was a strong reading for me, and as I said, I wanted to share it with other people because it meant something to me, and I feel like it's quite archetypal. I feel like it's something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's also something that when I receive people as clients and I read for them, it's such a classic situation, that sense that you don't necessarily want to be where you are in your work life, but you just feel held. You feel held. You feel that you're being opposed, even when that opposition isn't actually out there in the world. So Thank you for listening and watching this if you've come so far. I would love to have you here on my channel for more readings, more signs and symbols. Take care, and until the next time.